Hey everyone, and welcome to Tutorial Grid. Now in this tutorial we're taking a look at what happens when warp stabilizer fails. So we're going to be looking into the tracker situation and using this big round around the world shot as a reference. Also make sure to check out our friends over at amazingmusictracks.com and make sure to use Tutorial Grid 10 as your coupon code and you can save 10% off your first purchase at Amazing Music Tracks. So check those guys out. So on to our footage. So this is what we're going to be working with. We've got a piece of footage that was just a little shaky for our final rendering of this video. So you can see it's a bit shaky. It's on a dolly track, but it kept hitting grass and it's just not as good as it could be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take several points along this 180 around the world track that we've got and track a lot of different points on this timeline to get it to go. So I'm only gonna be doing a few of these points. And basically what it's going to look like is this. It's gonna be a pretty stabilized shot at the end. There's gonna be a few jumpy spots, but it's gonna be a pretty stable shot right at the end. And yeah, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through a few of these points and then you're gonna be working on it throughout. So let's go ahead and take our footage, drop it into a new comp. Let's go ahead and find where we wanna start this footage out at. I wanna start mine about right here, right before he starts talking. So go ahead and move that down. And this is where I want to end my footage, right here. Right there. So we will be going through basically this section right here and stabilizing it, and then you will be working on it throughout the rest of it to get it to stabilize. And you can download this footage in the description below at my website, CherokeeTurner.com. Most of the time I like to work with null objects, but since we're not adding additional footage, we're going to be basically putting trackers directly into the footage to stabilize the footage. So you'll see it move along our composition and it'll look weird, but you'll see what we're doing to kind of get this to stabilize out. So first of all, let's track our footage through here and let's look for a spot that stays in frame through most of our scene. And it looks like we've got one that stays in through most of our scene, which is right here. All right, so we've got a dot right here that we can track. So let's go ahead and hit stabilize motion. Move this up, find that dot. Now, sometimes these dots work, sometimes they do not. So you want to make sure that there's plenty of contrast in your footage that'll allow for that tracking point to track correctly. So once you have that point selected, go ahead and hit your play button. And that will start analyzing your track. So, and while this is going, just kind of sit back, relax, grab a drink, make sure your tracker is tracking correctly. It's still on that point. But this is a kind of a time-consuming way to do this. But it makes it look so much better and so much steadier. It is definitely worth it, especially if you're working on any type of professional gig. You want to make sure your shot looks just pristine as possible. All right, looks like we got our first track and was actually able to find a really good spot for almost half this footage. But it looks like we got a really good track. We got a little mess right here, some right here, here, and here. But we're gonna go ahead and apply this track. All right, hit apply. And we're gonna make sure that it says apply dimensions X and Y. So if it only says X or Y, make sure it says X and Y right there. Hit okay. All right, so right off the bat, this is what it's gonna look like. It's basically going to be dragging our footage, and obviously that's not what we want it to do. So what we want to do is go down here to the transform tab, and where it very begins, make sure our CTI is right there at the start of our frame or the start of our footage. Hit position and scale. Now I want to scale this up to about 110%. So I just want to scale it up just a smidgen. Now I'm working with 4K footage, so it's not going to be a crazy amount of detail I'm going to lose, but there's some will be lost, but in the end, we're going to get all of our resolution back. Then I'm going to drag it all the way to the end footage here, or the end frames that we've created here. And I'm going to drag it all the way back. So basically what that does is it makes a keyframe from the very beginning to the very end of our keyframes So where it looks like there's one big fluid movement as we're tracking on another layer. So let's see what that looks like and see if we've got any black spots on the left or right of our footage. All right, so see right here, we've got one spot where we get dead in the water right here. So we want to make sure by this frame, a little before that frame, we want to be a little further out. So we'll go ahead and hit play here. All right, that looks good. All right, not bad for our first track. All right, so now we've got a little bit of black frame here. So we want to move this just a smidgen over here, and that should fix up our black spots. Perfect. So let's go ahead and save our layer. So next thing we want to do is we want to duplicate this. So let's go ahead and zoom out, pull this up, move this down, go to our last frame here that we worked on, and we want to Control D on this layer. So Control D, and we're going to move our footage out here and move our footage back in here. So we created a new layer of just our next footage. So let's make some more layer space, and let's go ahead and hit stabilize motion. Let's look for another good stabilization point that we can utilize. Let's utilize, all right, we're gonna have to use a couple points. So I'm gonna utilize this one right back here. Go ahead and zoom in. So there's a little bit of a spot right there I'm gonna use. I think it's gonna have enough contrast, but we will see. All right, zoom out, and let's go ahead and hit forward. All right, so we got some points here. Looks like we got some trouble here and maybe at the very beginning, but we will work through it. So let's go ahead and hit apply, X and Y. Now again, since we've already established that we've got keyframes right through here, we can just go ahead and move our footage over. Make sure he's front and center. Move our footage back just a bit. And let's go ahead and hit play and see if we've got any dark spots, which it looks like we've got one right there. So let's just move it over just a tad bit. So let's go ahead and hit play. Looks good. All right, so far we've got a really nice, we've got a really nice looking piece of footage so far, and we're about halfway through. So let's do one more piece, but that is essentially what it is taking bit by bit, good track point through good track point, and resetting the footage each individual time to get where we want it to be. So let's go ahead and duplicate this footage one more time, extend out our frames here, push our frames back, and let's go ahead and start on this one. So let's go ahead and hit stabilize motion again. All right, so let's look for a good point to stabilize here. It looks like I'm gonna have a really nice stabilization point all the way to about right here. So I'm gonna bring this in, start it here, and the point of reference I'm going to make is going to be this little spot right up in the back. This guy right here. This is going to be my reference material right there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit play and let it work its magic. All right, it looks like we've got our third tracking point. Looks like a pretty good track with some flub here, there, and probably about right there. So let's go ahead and apply our tracker, X and Y. Okay, go ahead and move this over. We might have to move it down a smidgen. I want that to be right in the center, so let's go ahead and move it down just a little bit. All right, and let's go ahead and play this, kind of scrub it back. So we've got some flubbage right through here. Let's go ahead and move that closer that way. Let's go ahead and make sure that this black spot's out. All right, good. Move it back. All right, we've got a little bit of black spot right there. That down a smidgen. All right, let's open up our transform. Let's go back to this spot right here. So we've got a little bit of black spot on the right-hand side there. So I'm going to go ahead and move from that previous spot, move that over just a little bit. And that's going to go ahead and take care of that. And it looks like the rest of our track is going to be pretty good right through there. All right, cool. And onto our next tracking point. Let's go ahead and duplicate, move those source frames into the correct positions. And I'm going to go ahead and finish it out and hit stabilize motion. I'm going to track this headstone right back here and we will call it good. All right, and we've got our track. So it looks like we got a little trouble right here and right at the beginning, but I think we will be good. So let's go ahead and apply X and Y. We got a lot to work with. All right, let's go ahead and move our footage back to where we want it, which is going to be about right here. And let's go look for our black spots. We've got one right there. Go ahead and move that footage back to where it should be. And overall, that is looking how it should. So one of the ways I like to finish off my shots, especially whenever I'm dealing with scale, is I'll go ahead and set a keyframe right here at the end. And I'm going to scale this down just a bit. And I'm trying to line this up with the original shot as much as I possibly can. That way I can keep as much of that resolution as possible. So I'm going to make sure we're not getting any black spots right through here. Good. And this will kind of just help us give that overall reveal as we're backing up and we're barely even seeing that scale come back into frame. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one more time. I'm going to go ahead and play this out and we'll just give a little bit of frame just so we can see what we're playing. All right, so this is what our shot looks like after we have completely went through and multi-tracked our footage. That is a smooth looking shot from what it used to be. That is a very smooth looking shot. Now there are a couple places where it gets a little off, but it is much better. Much, much better than what it used to be. And then you kind of see it there at the end, scale down a little bit. So right down here, you see it just a little bit scale down and go back into our original shot. But so far, that looks beautiful. It is much better shot. This is our original. Shaky. Can barely use it. It is very, very shaky. Very distracting. And then again, our end shot. Stable as a table. Well, a little bit of a rickety table, but it's still very, very solid. It's solid, and it is totally way more usable than what it was before. So everyone, thank you for watching this tutorial. Make sure to subscribe. Check me out at Facebook at facebook.com/avidproductions479. Also, make sure to like me on Instagram at Cherokee_Turner, and make sure you hit that notification bell there. All right, everyone, I'm signing off. Much love and stay creative.